What's going on, Bellflowers? Gwen the Recovering Witch here, also known as Jen. Welcome back to my channel for Witchin' Out Wednesdays. And obviously you can see I got some war paint on. I've been wanting to do this video for some time. There had been some things that happened a couple months ago, and sometimes it's really good when you are in a part of a community, not necessarily a coven, but when you start meeting people and needing some help on some certain things magically, to throw some magical hands for the betterment of the person. Sometimes you do need to step in. So this video, this has been done before. It's not anything that's not different, except sometimes the styles that I do it. But this is the freezer spell. So I have seen my mother do it when I was younger. Again, I was curious, like going in the fridge to get some ice, and you pull out a name and it's there. As I've learned a little bit more and I've read a couple books, I've kind of added some interest into this flair of the freezer spell. So I do have mine kind of tailored a little bit differently, but again, this is only for necessary purposes of with me meditating and asking more again, can I do this and use this entity for the help? Because sometimes people are going to be people, and I really have to ponder that at times before I do work like this. And so when you are going to start working with different entities, said demons maybe, and if you're not comfortable, don't do it. But I am, again, I have to work with light and shadow. It's to know how to defend myself if need be. And maybe that will help you as well. But sometimes in life there are going to be people that are bullies, and the freezer spell, just brown paper bag, or actually it's a brown paper ripped. There's no straight cut edges, so I had just torn off the sides and I ripped away for me, and a freezer bag. Okay, and you're also going to need a pen. So without further ado, let's get started. And in the end of this, I'm going to tell you a couple other things that you could do to add to your freezer bag spell. All right guys, so I have my paper here, and I also have my pen, and then I have the freezer bag to the side. So you're going to write, and typically you could do this many ways. I have seen my mother write the person's name, fold it however she did, get some saran wrap. That's actually the other thing I forgot. Saran wrap would be good, because that is really to bind the person before you put it in the freezer. And I forgot about that, so I apologize. Probably do that over again on the intro. But anyway, so you're gonna write the person's name, all right? So you can write it 3 times, 7 times, or 9 times, whatever number resonates with you, or you can write it 1 time. What you are going to do around it, what I have found that works really well, is I'm writing the petition of what I am trying to accomplish with this freezer spell. Okay, so that way I can turn it counterclockwise, and I do the allotted number of times, so that way it is securing it to have the spell working with the number that I find association with. So sometimes for me it's 3. For me to get in the meditative state and feel the feeling, sometimes I have to get to 9. Even sometimes I will go to 13, because that is the number of the witch. So anyway, so I'm going to write down Jane Doe. Okay, Jane Doe. Okay, again, you can write it 1, 3, 7, or 9 times. I'm going to go ahead and write it 1 time, because that's all I have to do. So then you're going to write at the very top, Jane Doe will be frozen out of my life and will leave me alone. Okay, so then I'm gonna turn it counterclockwise and write the same petition. Okay, so again, you can write it 3, 7, 9 times, or 13. So just for the sake of this, I'm going to do it for 3 because it's an example. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Now that's done. Again, some people will write it more where it's covering the name, like they're kind of writing a check or whatever. Again, I would do what intuitively feels right to you. When you are writing this down, you are doing this in a state where you are feeling all the feelings. Okay, that's so important. It's like you're doing like the emotional alchemy when you are doing this. What I mean by emotional alchemy, you're feeling all the feels. You're feeling the pent-up anger, the aggression, and you're letting it out on the spell. And then once it is completed, your spell has worked and you know that it works. Not if, I don't know, you know that it works. You have the power to know that it works, okay? So in the end of it, you are satisfied, the spell is taking over, and what's done is done, okay? And just holding on to that, okay? So you're putting everything you got in the spell when you're writing it down and just being like, oh, excuse me. I am trying not to cuss. Okay, so you are feeling all the feels and putting that in there and just being like, this a-hole, this bi, so on and so forth, you know, screw you, F you, whatever. You're putting this all in the spell. All right. So when I am done with this, I am going to fold it away from me however many set times. This time I can do 3. All right. Again, still turning counterclockwise and folding away from me. 2, 3. Till you have a small little sheet of paper, okay? If you feel compelled to like still do it one more time and make it a odd number, here you have it. All right, so this paper, this is where the plastic wrap comes in, where you're going to be wrapping it and binding it, okay? And actually, here's 2 ways you can do this, and I'm going to grab this really quick. You can get aluminum foil, all right? Maybe a little bit bigger than this than what I have here that was available. After the kind of discussion with some of my friends in a witch group that we're in, there's a lot of times where some of us are gonna make a mirror box, okay? The mirror box, maybe you don't have like a mirror or multiple mirrors that will fit in the box. So one of my friends said, why don't you use aluminum foil? Awesome idea, because this does have a reflective, okay? And you are binding with what you have, but also the behavior that the bully is exhibiting, it is mirrored back to them, okay? So you're gonna put your petition in here, okay? Make sure that it's folded away from you, and you are going to start folding. And here is what I love. Do you remember the 90s movie, The Craft? Who doesn't, okay? When Homegirl is binding Nancy, that is the best spell I have ever heard in my entire life, and that is the one you can use. So again, with Jane Doe, I bind you, Jane Doe, from harming me, harming others, and harm against yourself. I bind you, Jane Doe, from harming me, harm against others, and harm against yourself, and you keep going. So when that's done, it's done. You can seal it and hold it and still feel that aggression of what this person has been doing to you, still speaking into it. Just spew all that stuff in there and just let it go, okay? So when you're done doing that, you could say at the end that you were going to leave me alone. Your behaviors that you have put upon me are mirrored back to you, okay? They're mirrored back to you. And you can say times 3, if you want it to rhyme. So whatever behavior you have sent to me is sent back to you times 3. So here's what else you are going to do. So you have the freezer bag, okay? You're gonna put that name in the freezer bag, okay? And you're gonna put water in this, all right? And so what I have done is, again, there is different ways you can do this. You can use any filtered water, pray over it. You can do holy water for protection from yourself while doing the spell to ensure that the spell stays in and it does not cause you harm, okay? I like to use full moon water, okay? Full moon water, full moons, you can do a lot in rituals, a lot of banishment, any type of spells that you have been doing. That is why it's so powerful with full moon water. I like to use the full moon water because, again, it is to ensure that any spell that I cast is going to be successful. That is just to ensure, okay? So I'm going to fill this bag up with with water, not here in this video, but I did want to let you guys know that. So I'm going to move back to me and tell you guys a couple things of what else you can add into the bag. All right, guys, so like I said, what you need for this spell is brown paper, ripped off the edges, no manufactured cuts. Again, there are multiple ways you can do this. When I have really put a lot of thought out into this spell, you can also get a person's picture, okay? There are many sources on how you can get this person's picture, so don't think that you can't, because you can, because there is Instagram and Facebook, okay, and snipping tool. All right, all you got to do is just save the picture and cut it, whatever, and print it off. Find any way you can get it. Again, this is for a person that it is very much justified and thought out. What I have done with that picture is I have crossed the eyes out, and then I've also put X's. So I'm putting X's on the eyes, and I'm also putting X's around the mouth, okay? Specifically around the mouth because when I did this spell, and I've done it a couple times, it has been for a person that's been verbally bullying. And again, these are people that haven't even met each other, and they've been really exhibiting that type of behavior where they feel like they can just say whatever they want and harass the person, all right? And it's not justified. It is not justified for that. And I don't stand for that either. Again, it's got to be really thought out. Is it very much justified, using discernment and then doing this? So whether you have the brown paper, if you don't have brown paper, use any paper, rip it up, it's fine. Again, what your intention you set in on the spell, it is going to work, okay? You have a picture, great. You can write the petition however you want to do it. Again, I gave you guys the example. It's probably not the best one that I have, but again, it will still work. But something that is very personal to you that you want this person to stop. Number associations, again, you do what intuitively feels right for you. I have seen people where they just write out almost just like a prayer, just one time with the person's name. What is it that they want? Whether they pray to angels, guardian angels for this other person, they ask their guardian angels to step in. I have seen that work. So again, put all that emotion that you have into the spell and believe that it is going to work. It will work. It will work. I did talk about the full moon water. Again, if you know I have full moon water, that is okay. You can use regular filtered water, say a prayer over it, and put just the water in here. You don't have to fill up the whole bag. You can actually just fill it up halfway. I have heard if you are trying to freeze this person out of your life, I have heard that sometimes they will add blue food coloring in here just to calm the person's behind down, and really just the representation of color just to freeze them out. You can add herbs and or in other types of ingredients into this bag. Say, for example, you do want to be the very nice person, be sweet about it. You can add the water and you can add sugar and honey. okay? And say a little blessing for them, speaking to their guardian angel and saying, hey, I don't want them to bully me anymore. I bind them from them feeling the way that I have. As I was talking about the binding for this. But again, it's kind of like to make them a bit sweeter, which I have seen my mom do that with candles. The other things you can add if this person is really being not so nice, and you don't want to be as nice, think of what you would do for hot foot powder. Maybe not adding the graveyard dirt, but if you have it, go right on ahead. If you do have hot foot powder, add that in there. Other things that you can use hot sauce. You can add red pepper flakes. You can add ginger. You could add black pepper. You could add salt. You could add rosemary. All of these here are types of protection, okay? Again, you could look up herbs. There's a plethora of information online as to why you can use those. And all the herbs that I've listed, they are good for protection, but they also are good for heating up the person. So down to my spell, and I am going to be covering this in another video. In the Gallery of Magic, there is a book called Demons of Magic. All right. I have used the person's picture, written the petition in the back, set up the picture as I need to do, added my herbs inside the bag, added the water, and I will shake it. I will shake it up so fast before I put it in the freezer. The other thing that I add is when I know that I need some extra magical assistance, I will ask George while I'm flipping through the book what would be the best case scenario for using a demon, okay? In that book, there are tons of sigils with the demon's name, how to do the ritual. These demons are, they are basically watched over by particular archangels to where that things do not get out of hand, but you need to do the protection ritual properly. That is the way that I say, or the way that that ritual is laid out is almost kind of like calling the four quarters, but also calling on the elements for protection, opening and closing the circle. Calling on these archangels are the way that I open and close the circle. But this one in particular, if you're going to be doing that, you need to follow that book to the T and do it that way. I have the demon sigil once I've got that picked out, and I do the ritual with the demon. There are 3 different types of rituals out of that book. Again, I won't go into too much detail with this one, but I have typically done ritual 2 because I do channel and I can hear what is going on. And then also when it comes down to asking what it is that they would like once this is completed, I can go back and give them the offering once the spell has been fulfilled. Okay, when the request has been fulfilled. When I have completed the ritual, okay, this will take a little bit longer than just doing just a regular freezer spell. But again, it does work every time, and I have heard that these people have never come around to bully or bother them again. And so what I will do is when I have the water in here, I will also grab some string. If the rubber bands are big enough, I will do that. Tape, I will use tape. I will definitely use tape, but I will get this to where it fits like a mold with the water in, and I make sure that it's sealed in really tight. And I will get the print off of the demon sigil and have it facing the petition. I will have it facing this person. This will ensure that the spell is locked in. And if this person continues to do harm to me or anyone that it is for, the demon will step in, okay? And it's kind of like they hover over the situation to ensure that the person will leave them alone. They still are doing their own work, but again, if things start to happen, just in case with the efforts that you have going on here, they will ensure that this person gets what's coming to them. Okay, once you have done that, you are good to go and put this in the freezer. Okay, and after that, your spell is done. Make sure it's way in the back. Don't take it out. If you ever feel the need that you want to take it out, make sure you leave it at a crossroads somewhere. Bury it away from your house or in a stream of water away from you. Again, because this is plastic and I don't like to throw things in that I know that it's going to either harm some animals or something that is living in there. Again, put it in a place that is away from your house, maybe most likely trying to bury this. Again, it's kind of like you putting in the petition of that you are giving it to Mother Earth. You are giving it over to the entities that have helped you in performing the spell, and you don't have to deal with that anymore. Okay, that meant you meant business. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up for this Witchin' Wednesday segment. And if you have any questions, let me know. Do you have your own version of a freezer spell that you use? Again, like I said, there are many ways that you can do this. I wanted to do this on the fly for you guys because it's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And again, this is not something that I do often. Not that I'm trying to justify it to you guys, but the importance is that when you are doing a working and you mean business, and sometimes you do have to balance the scales a bit, because people sometimes people do not want to correct their behavior, and sometimes you do have to take matters in your own hands. But again, that is with the guidance of my mother and asking her, what would you have me do? And I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, well, she's just going to tell me, yes, do it. Again, she will let me know if something is not a good idea. And she will let me know physically at times, like knocking things over, ruining the spell, maybe like, halfway through. So, yeah. So, again, be smart about it. Again, these things you do have to do to protect yourself, and it's for your good. And sometimes it is to protect another person. So, if you are calling on these entities, it is good to find the one that is best specific to ensure that they do leave you alone. And again, using the best judgment, because there are some entities in there that they do some heavier type of stuff. So with that being said, I can't wait to share that book with you guys when I do the video on that. But again, leave a comment, like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys next time for Witchin' Out Wednesdays. Take care, and work with your light and your shadow. Put on the war paint. Bye.